is Raimi with my partner, Adessa.
Thanks, Rai. Welcome to our VODCAST, and today we will be talking about the nature of light. Just what is the true nature of light? Is it a wave or perhaps a flow of extremely small particles? These questions have long puzzled scientists.
Let's go and travel through history as we talk about this matter.
So around 1700, Newton concluded that light was a group of particles or corpuscular theory. Around the same time, there were other scholars who thought that light might instead be a wave or the wave theory.
That's pretty interesting, Adessa. Well, light travels in a straight line, and I think it was only natural for Newton to think of it as extremely small particles that are emitted by the light source and reflected by objects.
That's right. However, the former theory cannot explain wave-like light phenomena such as diffraction and interference.
You have a point, Odessa. Yet, the wave theory, on the other hand, cannot also clarify why photons fly out of metal that is exposed to light, which is called the photoelectric effect, discovered at the end of the 19th century.
Yup, and because of that, the great physicists have continued to debate and demonstrate the true nature of light over the centuries. Here's a brief history of this. Known for his law of universal gravitation, English physicist Sir Isaac Newton realized that light had frequency-like properties when he used a prism to split sunlight into its component colors. Nevertheless, he thought that light was a particle because the periphery of the shadows it created was extremely sharp and clear. The wave theory, which maintains that light is a wave, was proposed around the same time as Newton's theory. In 1665, Italian physicist Francesco Maria Grimaldi discovered the phenomenon of light diffraction and pointed out that it resembles the behavior of a wave. Then in 1678, Dutch physicist Christian Huygens established the wave theory of light and announced the Huygens principle.
In that case, in an approximate way, light can be both a particle and a wave, because if we are going to examine each claims, they both have something to prove it's right. But I think in an exact representation, light is neither a particle or a wave, but something more complex.
That's right. Here's a metaphor. Consider a cylindrical can of beans. If you hold the can sideways, force a friend to only look at its shadows and ask him what shape the object has, he will respond rectangular. But now turn the can 98 degrees. Have a second friend look at just the shadow and he will tell you that the can is circular. Now, have your two friends debate each other about the true shape and they will not make much progress. Which one is right?
That's too humorous metaphor, Odessa. Yet, that is true. And in this case, they are both right and both wrong in a way, because cylinder is circular as seen from one angle and rectangular from another angle. But in reality, it is much more than a circle plus a rectangle. As what I have said earlier, it is something more complex. Three-dimensional shape that can't be fully described through two-dimensional shapes such as circles and rectangles. The problem is that your friend were looking at shadows of that can of beans and not on the object itself. A shadow is two-dimensional, collapsed representation of a three-dimensional object.
Indeed, and this case is very similar when it comes to the quantum particles such as light. To say light is a particle is to look at it as collapsed representation of a more complex entity. Similarly, to picture light as a wave is to treat it as a simpler object that really is.
Yes. On the other hand, through the researches accumulated over 2,000 years of time, Albert Einstein then enters the scene. stating that light is a photon. A photon has many mysterious physical properties, such as possessing the dual properties of a wave and a particle. For him, this reveals the fact that these properties may lead us to using light more effectively than ever before. Well, in my own perspectives, I found this one as one of the example of the things that science alone cannot fully explain. Yes, they can give arguments to prove their claims, but we can't deny the fact that it can somehow lead to debates and more confusions. And the only thing that's left is to believe that there is another force working on it, the divine intervention. Well, that's only based on my observation on the history of understanding the true nature of light.
That's right. Astronomy is just so simple. If we define it yet, it comprises a lot of awesome things that will make us amazed of how the universe was uniquely created, and I hope our viewers also felt the same throughout the discussion. That's all for today, and I'm Edessa with my partner Rai. Keep safe and have a good day, everyone.